Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie. I'm Mike.
I'm Jay.
Adam Hamlin, you're an awesome fucking dude, man, and especially on Patreon. And he requested Prince of Darkness, which ties into something we're doing.
Prince of Persia?
Yes.
Oh,
Jake Gyllenhaal.
I love that movie.
Video game. Prince of Darkness, which ties into what we were going to do this Halloween Horror Month, which is the John Carpenter Apocalypse Trilogy. It's The Thing, which just came out beforehand, Prince of Darkness, and In the Mouth of Madness.
Ooh.
Now, Adam Hamlin requested this one. We thank you very much. We thank all you Patreons very much. And this movie is fucking weird. What are you going to do on October 31st?
What are you gonna do on October 31st?
Here comes that white-faced fucker, an asshole like no other. He's a big old piece of shit. Wants to stab your sister's tits cause he's a white-faced fucker. Loomis can't recover. Dr. Challenge drunk again, sleeping with your sister's friends.
Do you wanna know about the darkness?
I said, goddamn.
Goddamn you, faggot!
I said, goddamn.
A lot of people don't know the darkness that goes inside their hearts.
I said, goddamn.
Goddamn you, Michael! What are you gonna do on October 31st?
John Carpenter got $3 million from a studio.
And stoned.
He got really high, and then he said, you're only gonna give me $3 million to make this movie, but I'm gonna make it the way I want to with no studio interference, which is kind of a John Carpenter thing. That's what he likes to do. So what he did, he was really into this whole crazy, what do you even call it? Quantum realm shit fucking.
What are you doing?
Wild
How much Star Trek did you watch,
stallions
John?
Type shit. But
Tachyons.
this movie is about where science meets religion and Alice Cooper and the devil. It's a 9-minute opening credit sequence, one of the longest opening credit sequences you'll ever see in your entire life. The credits come up so slow, the score's by John Carpenter. It's all John Carpenter, man. Top to fucking bottom. And it's so slow in the rollout, and they just show you bits and pieces, and then you get a little credit sequence, and then you get a little quick scene, you get a little credit sequence, a little bit more of that John Carpenter score, a little bit more. And basically, what happens is the great one, Donald Pleasance.
Cotracho.
Anyone in close proximity has the same dream.
What is it? A secret that can no longer be kept.
Father Loomis,
Cotracho.
as many call him in this movie. He's just listed in IMDb as priest, but people call him Father Loomis, and he's very much Loomis in this fucking role.
Egg Shin from the Big Trouble in Little China series is in this, as well as Wang from Big Trouble in Little China as well. The only thing we're missing is Kurt Russell.
So basically these guys were protecting this vat of green goo down in the bottom of this church basement that has to do with Satan in some weird way. But it's not just Satan, it's Satan tied in to actual science. So it's where religion meets science. It's an idea movie. Shit's fucking crazy. It's weird. John Carpenter has the most batshit ideas going on in this movie, and it's actually really hard to follow. But I think it's also special in the same way.
Listen, sometimes in your life, after you've had your breakfast and you're going about your day,
And your potatoes.
and you're going about your work day, and you get home, you will have the option maybe to trip acid. And then you will write a movie. And this movie will be called Prince of Darkness.
It started a month ago.
What started?
A change in the earth and the sky. His power.
It was really, it's a weird ass movie, and the fact that that Satan himself or the devil or whatever the fuck he is basically the ecto cooler in the bottom of a basement is saying something, and also it ejaculates in people's mouth to get them to become demons. That's pretty much, I mean, it's not, I mean, that sounds far-fetched, but that's kind of like you watch the film.
There's this vat of Secret of the Ooze goo in the bottom of this church somewhere, and basically it embodies Satan. Satan is, and God and all this stuff is apparently in the matter and the antimatter of the universe and the atoms and the tiniest little details of all of it. But somehow it's also in this basement that's been kept a secret for hundreds of years because religion wanted this to be kept secret because they wanted to promote their idea of like, no, you have to be good versus evil. They wanted it to be a faith-based thing and not a physical thing. But Satan is actually a physical thing in the basement of this church somewhere. So when Donald Pleasance's character finds out about this, he enlists the help of Victor Wong's character to meet religion with science, and they hire a team of professionals to figure out what this thing is. They translate this book with text from over 2,000 years ago, which says all this crazy fucking MS-DOS kind of crazy ass fucking weird scripture.
Mathematics.
Scare you into the fucking night shit that this thing comes out and says. And they hire this team of physicists and a whole group of people. They go into this church, they try to figure out what this stuff is, how it happens, and eventually everything goes buku fucking Alice Cooper nuts in the darkness.
I'm not saying it's not a bad idea. I just feel like the movie, there are some weird out of the left field moments in it that make you go, But it's still, it's almost so weird and too strange that it's like even John Carpenter was like, I don't know what the fuck to do. Like, dude, I'm just gonna film some weird random shit.
There's so much talk and there's so much science and there's so much like big grand words and there's so much crazy ideas that you think that there's something more to it than there actually is. So I thought, man, this movie's crazy. It's going above my head a little bit right now. I can't wait to revisit it. I went back to revisit it and I paid closer attention. I went, no, some of this shit is just so fucking crazy it doesn't make sense. Just the weight of Donald Pleasance's acting and the way he delivers lines and the cool dialogue that's written, it's fucking fascinating, man. And it literally blows me the fuck away. And then you'll have a 20-minute section where it's these college kids and like all of these kind of non-actors like talking and just talking about shit you don't care about and characters you don't give a fuck about. There's this dude with a mustache.
I like that guy though. I feel like he was the basis for every Mentos commercial that ever came out in the 90s.
That guy was supposed to be John Carpenter's Kurt Russell or Tom Atkins
doesn't feel that
type
way.
In this movie. He was supposed to be the manly man, the dude who led the thing, and he wasn't. It fell apart. There's a terrible like 20-minute dialogue scene where he's talking to some girl and he's like, "What I can understand card tricks is why a hot girl like you would be working in the science department." She's like, "That's very sexist." He's like, "I'm proud of sexist." And then they're banging and you're like, why did that scene even fucking exist in the
because his mustache
movie?
Was a goddamn
his
animal.
mustache was great.
It was an animal.
But that guy was like,
it was like immediately get the girl in the sack with that mustache in 1987.
The characters outside of Loomis and Wong, you don't give a fuck about. You just don't.
By the way, speaking of which, the card trick, all he did was hold up a 5 of clubs every 5 fucking minutes, and I was waiting for the trick to happen. And he would just like fold it around, and he would go like, and what you're thinking is like, you get tachyon beams. I know what they were going for, but ultimately I feel like it got so wrapped up in its own philosophy in some way that it got confused about what the fuck the movie was supposed to be about. Like, are we talking about God and Satan, or are we talking about a goddamn number that like hangs out in space like, I'm an equation that you can't solve? Like, it just felt like weird sometimes. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, and then there was like a goddamn slime monster, and then there was a fucking bitch that like look at herself in the mirror that says, Father! Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, and sometimes it really did feel like they would cut certain scenes and they were like, well, we have to go check our bank to make sure we have a budget to do the extra scene because I don't know. And they're like, well, we don't have enough money to do that today. We have to do this. We have to have the one dude wrapped up in the neck blouse and laugh all the fucking time. And that was, again, it was a good attempt, and I understand what he was trying to go for. I just feel like overall, whether or not it was lost in translation or it was a money issue, I had a good time watching it, like, to a point, but at the same time I was also thinking there was a lot of maybe not repetitive parts, but there was a lot of parts that slowed it down so fucking much that I was like, I'm out of it. Like, at this point, I don't give a fuck. I'd rather go eat a Twizzler off a fucking hobo's dick. Like, oh my god, like the fucking radio broadcast to their fucking brain.
Now that I fucking love, dude.
I can't, no.
That freaked me the tits out.
I liked it at first, and then when I watched it the second time, because we watched it earlier, and then we watched it, you know, to get accustomed to it, or to get really acclimated with the film, we watched it 2 times with a span of like 4 weeks. the first time it was like, that's pretty cool, and then the second time I watched it, was like, god damn, I don't know. I just feel like that was, I don't know, man. It didn't scare me. It was just like,
I felt like that was the.
Can you fucking get some tracking on your VHS tape? Because I know what he was trying to say. I get the idea behind it, but I mean, maybe you should have put that in the movie because you didn't have the budget for it. Like, hey.
I think that was perfect, though. I think it was supposed to be low budget. I think that scene in particular, where this, and again, we won't even get into the specifics of it because you should watch the movie if you haven't seen it before anyway. And if you have seen it, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. But these dream sequences they're having, where these brainwaves, I felt like that was the most original found footage of all time. Like, and that shit was creepy as fuck. You got this church with this figure coming out of it, and this thing's telling you that it's a news broadcast from the future.
It looked like an opening to Alice Cooper.
That scared the fuck out of me. And by the way, yeah, Alice Cooper's in this movie, and it's one of those weird things like that. Almost, it just doesn't ever really tie in the right way. Like there's a bunch of hobos outside who just walk around like zombies.
I whipped ass.
And all of a sudden, one dude goes out and Alice Cooper kills him with a fucking bicycle top.
I will say one of the grodier scenes, other than the chick at the end of the movie, is his father. That's pretty nasty. I don't like that. That bitch looked like her fucking face was covered in melted like cornflakes. I don't like that. That's gross. But the bug scene.
Yeah, it was
when the guy comes back and he's like, "You won't like what I have to hear." I thought that scene was done really, really well, and I think it was a promise to what they wanted to do. I don't want to shit on anybody's parade and say that it wasn't a good movie. It was a good movie. I just feel like there was things about it that it could have been better, and it just, the budget wasn't there, and the realization of what it could have. Honestly, I would, and I never fucking said it. I would remake this movie.
I would. Oh God, no.
Yeah, I would.
No. God, I don't think you can. I think this was an artur vision of fucking wild craziness.
I would.
This was a John Carpenter fever dream, dude. I don't think you could remake this.
Well, that's why I didn't. But I'm saying if you had John Carpenter come back on board to do it, and you don't have to. I mean, obviously, unfortunately, Victor Wong is dead, and and Donald Pleasance is dead. But you can recast certain. I'm just saying, like, I feel like if this movie had been given the appropriate budget. And given the appropriate time to film and shoot and really tell the story the way that I think that John Carpenter wanted to tell it without having to be sidelined by runtime and all this other shit they probably had to cut out.
I think he actually had a lot of control over exactly what
$3 million is not going to cut the vision that he had.
Sure, but that's in the special effects and stuff. And I actually thought they did, like with the reverse thing, with the green shit coming out, like I thought they did a good job with that on a low budget. I think, dude, honestly, I think that the problem with this movie is that the stuff, the philosophical stuff, the highbrow stuff, it was working for a time. Like when you saw Victor Wong in the classroom explaining all that shit, like it was fascinating, and you're like, whoa, where's this going? This is going somewhere deep.
Yeah.
Seriously, for me, there was like amazing elements. I love the religion meets science argument, and I love watching fucking Donald Pleasance and Victor Wong be the two to talk about that.
Man, I'm gonna give the movie a 6.0. Like, I don't hate it.
Honestly, I give the movie a strong 7.5 for me. I enjoy the movie a lot, and I think it's one of those movies that's really fun because it's worth a couple rewatches because there's so much dialogue and they throw so many ideas at you. But yeah, so dude, thank you so much for picking this movie. I'm so glad that you did. It's really the reason we ended up doing the entire Apocalypse trilogy. So you got a 3-for-1 there. So that's fucking awesome. And I loved watching it, and we loved talking about it, and I love fucking eating ramen noodles. And who doesn't love eating?
That's a strong thing, Jim.
They're terrible for you, goddammit, but I love eating them. I hope you guys are having a great fucking October so far. I know that we are, even though it's in
full
September
effect.
here.
I hope that you're streaking, because if you're not streaking and having a pumpkin covering up your goods, what are you doing?
I left my cranberry CD in the quad.
Fuck.
What are you gonna do on October 31st?
What are you gonna do on October 31st?
Here comes that white-faced fucker, an asshole like no other. He's a big old piece of shit. Wants to stab your sister's tits cause he's a white-faced fucker. Loomis can't recover. Dr. Challenge drunk again, sleeping with your sister's friends.
Do you want to know about the darkness?
I said, God damn.
God damn you, Michael!
I said, God damn.
A lot of people don't know the darkness that goes inside their hearts.
I said, God damn.
God damn you, Michael! What are you gonna do on October 31st?